Companies know at the end of the day, if you are happy, if you are shining, if you feel like you're invested in, you're going to do your best work. You're going to help the organization shine as well. So the question I have for you is, are you ready to shine?
Welcome to the Game of Her Own podcast, a podcast about women who work in sports. I'm your host, Jahaan Blake. After 15 years of working for 3 major league teams, including the Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Chicago Cubs, I discovered the one thing I loved the most was helping women in sports shatter glass ceilings and take their seat at the table. I loved it so much that I made a business out of it. I have the honor of coaching high-performing women in the sports and entertainment industry and supporting them as they go after exactly what they want in their career. So if you are feeling tired of waiting on the sidelines, done being overlooked for promotions, and you're ready to pull ahead of the pack and take your career to the next level, girl, I'm here for it. I also created the Game of Her Own podcast to support you as well. We are here to share the stories of incredible women who work in sports and entertainment. These leaders and trailblazers will inspire you with their success and the lessons they've learned along the way to the top. Ladies, there is nothing like women empowering women. I am so honored you're here.
Have you ever thought to yourself, oh man, I could really use a career coach, but it's too expensive and I can't afford to pay for it? But perhaps you noticed in your organization, the people who get coaching are executives. Yeah, I've been there before. I was craving professional development. I wanted guidance from someone outside of the organization. I wanted some outside perspective to help me grow. I wanted someone who understood how I operated, what my goals were, and knew the areas I needed growth and didn't hold it against me. Now, the mistake I made back in the day was I went and asked for executive coaching. And keep in mind, these programs cost a lot of money. I'm talking year-long programs that start around $35,000. And that was on the low end. So what I learned that these programs were reserved for high-level executives only, or for a select few employees that were singled out. So my request that I put in was denied. But what I wasn't told and what I didn't know to ask for is what I'm going to talk to you today about. I guess you would say, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. How to get your organization to pay for your coaching. Now, before we jump into this episode, let me tell you that when I give you all advice, when I give you strategies to go out and implement to help you grow, I make sure that they all work. I don't want to just give you some theories. I want to give you strategies that have been put into practice, and I know firsthand the results that they can produce. It's why I love to brag about my client work, because I know they are going further faster when we're working together. They are taking what they learn and putting it into action and getting results. So today, we're going to talk about how to get career coaching or professional development paid for by your employer. And of course, I'm going to give you some examples of how this has worked for some of my clients. One of the things to keep in mind is a lot of companies already have professional development budgets. This means every year that money is set aside to help employees grow, to help employees do their best work. Companies know at the end of the day, if you are happy, if you are shining, if you feel like you're invested in, you're going to do your best work. You're going to help the organization shine as well. So the question I have for you is, are you ready to shine? All right, Game of Her Own listeners, let's do this. The first thing you want to do when it comes to getting your company to pay for your professional development or your coaching is manage your mindset. Mindset is wrapped around every single thing we do. For those of you who are like me and battle anxiety, are introverted, and are perhaps a recovering perfectionist, any one of those three, mindset plays an even bigger role for us. Now, when I say mindset, when I'm talking about this for coaching and getting your coaching paid for, I'm talking about be careful of the story you are making up about how your manager or your leadership will react to you asking for this additional support. One of the most important things you should keep in mind is that you're not looking for a coach because you're failing. or low performer. You're looking for a coach because you are succeeding. You want to continue this momentum to not only achieve your goals, but to knock them out of the park. Yep, see what I did there? You can certainly achieve your goals or continue to grow without having a coach. The value of working with a coach is achieving your goals faster. That will not only help you, it will help your entire organization. When you succeed, your organization succeeds. I want you to keep this in mind too when you're working on managing your mindset. Remember that even Tiger Woods has a coach. Every important athlete that has been successful had a coach. You are rising to the top fast and you want to stay there. You want to continue to perform and to get to the next level. And you want to help your organization achieve its goals. I have a client who, the second she was promoted to a director level, it was the first thing she asked for was having professional development. She took it to her manager to ask for. As she was doing some things for the first time, she wanted that support. She wanted to make sure that she kept that momentum going. Some people talk themselves out of asking before they've even opened their mouths. Don't do that. Don't tell yourself no. Give yourself a chance to have a conversation with your organization. The second thing you want to do is identify what success looks like. What does it look like for you to work with a coach? Spend time determining exactly what you need. Write down what you want to learn. Ask yourself, how will I grow from having a coach? Be very specific here. It may be you want to improve your management skills. You may want to be better equipped to lead your team. Maybe you're just getting by right now, but you know you could be a better leader if you can hone in and strengthen your management style. You know that working one-on-one with a coach will help you play to your strengths. You know, it will help you work on those areas that you need improvement. For example, I have a client who struggles to delegate. So often the solution for your manager is to tell you, learn how to delegate. Your lack of delegation is slowing you down. Yes, they're correct. It is slowing you down. But how do you embrace and excel at delegating to your team if you don't know how? What I did with my client is we drilled down to understand why she wasn't delegating, what was happening with her team when she did delegate. And we learned some of the misses that she had, some of the areas for improvement, some of the ways she could better lead and manage her team. And we closed those gaps. It made her a stronger manager. It made her team stronger. And as a result, it made her manager look good as well. This leads me to number 3, identify the ROI. Before you invest in something, whether you are paying for it or your company is paying for it, you want to know what it's going to do for you. Your boss is going to think the same thing. Consider the specific changes you hope to achieve through professional development, how coaching is going to translate into added business value for your organization. It is important for you to connect your goals and the outcomes of coaching to the business needs. I have a client and the company she worked for was growing at a rate they couldn't keep up with training and onboarding employees. My client noticed this and she thought it was an opportunity for her. She raised her hand to help. As a result of the great work she's doing in that area, she got promoted, received a raise, and started even managing some of the team members that she helped onboard and train. The thing was, she loved the idea of managing a team, but certain aspects of it were new to her. She wanted to get it right the first time. She wanted to make sure she was helping her team grow and succeed. She knew the management of her team would have a direct impact on the success of the company and how they continued to grow. The work we did together to help develop her leadership and management style had a direct impact on the success of the company. For my client, she actually asked for coaching to be paid for after we had been working together for a while. So when she made the request to her manager to get coaching paid for, it was an easy sell because she can point to the success that was already happening as a result of working with me. Number 4, do your homework. Do the research to figure out who is the best coach to give you the support you need in the area of development you were looking for. Make sure before you talk to your manager, you have talked to this coach and make sure it's a fit. Like me, the majority of coaches out there offer a way for you to talk with them before you commit to working with them. It's a great opportunity to get a feel for them and make sure it's the right fit for free. You can also learn more about their up-to-date programs and pricing. So when you go to your manager, you have 3 things. This is important. 3 things you can share with them as a result of you doing your homework. First, who the coach is, what their qualifications are, and why they are the right fit for you. Also, make sure to check out the testimonials on their website. That could be something you share with your manager. You want to make sure why they are a credible coach. The second is know how much the investment will be for your organization. You need to know how much it will cost in total, if it's monthly or quarterly charge, or you have to pay all up front. Also, be aware if there's an agreement that you or your organization needs to sign. Typically, a coach will explain all of this to you in detail, but if they don't, before you meet with your manager, make sure you ask so you are 100% prepared for your conversation with your manager. The third thing, know your company's policy. Take a look at your handbook and see what benefits your company offers for professional development. I had this conversation with a client, and after some research, she realized every employee got up to $1,000 for professional development and coaching. She had no idea. It was already in their handbook. They just weren't talking about it. So take a look before you talk to your manager so you know how much money you're already entitled to. Another thing to think about is if you're interviewing for a job and you're accepting a job and negotiating, you can ask for coaching to be part of your compensation package. I just had a client who received a job offer and she, during the negotiation process, added coaching into her complete compensation package. So it's now paid for by her company. The final tip on how to get your coaching paid for, this is one that people miss a lot, is to ask. I know. Don't roll your eyes. You got to ask. Put the time on your manager's calendar. In the meeting invite, you can keep it really simple. Say, hi, whatever your manager's name is. I would like to spend some time talking with you about my professional development. I look forward to the discussion. That is it. You don't have to give them all, you don't have to show them your cards right now. Just tell them what you want to talk about. That's the whole point of an agenda, right? You just put that in the meeting notes. That's what you guys were talking about. When you come, that's when you present your case. When you go into the meeting, bring notes. Have an outline of what you want to cover. It could be for your eyes only. You don't need to pass anything over to your manager. Make sure you ask for exactly what you want. Be clear and to the point. Tell a story. Tell a compelling story. Make sure you hit number 1 through 4 that we just talked about. You are building a case on why you should have your coaching paid for. Remember, the company wants you to succeed. They have already invested in you by hiring you. I've given you 5 tips to help you get your coaching paid for. What I want you to do, if you need support in building this case, feel free. Scroll in the show notes. There's a button that says schedule a free call with Jahaan. Click that link and schedule some time with me. We could talk about it. 1, we can see if it's the right fit for us to work together. If that box is checked, 2, we can work on developing that compelling case for your manager to get your coaching paid for. I promise you, we can do it in the 20-minute call. All you have to do is set up the time. And I would love to spend some time talking with you to see if it's the right fit for us to work together and then to figure out how we can get your manager to pay for it. All right, Game of Her Own listeners, I loved talking to you. And you know what? I love hearing from you. So if this episode was helpful, please send a message. Let me know how it helped. Let me know if you were able to get your coaching paid for.